what are the three leadership competencies that you would like to see in the future leaders as well?
So AI is like the latest of technology.
Yes,
right?
definitely.
I mean, a lot of people feel a little intimidated. Oh my God. At the time, Mobilink had 1 million customers on its network.
Biggest challenges that you have faced throughout your journey?
First of all, a leader has to have vision.
What is your mantra of happiness?
The second thing is you've got to be able to command the respect of a team. Happiness is spending time with your family and your friends. Third thing, again, I will say integrity.
Integrity.
You've got to stick with that.
Assalamu alaikum everyone, my name is Shifa Ijaz from Women CEO Club, and today I'm back again with another episode of Coffee with CEO. And today we have the dynamic Mr. Zouhair Abdul Khaliq from Teamup Ventures. Assalamu alaikum sir.
Welcome.
तो कैसे हैं आप? Sir, can you please define your educational and professional journey in a nutshell?
It's now 45 years long, so it won't be in a nutshell. I received most of my early education in the UK.
Okay.
I qualified as a chartered accountant in the UK, and that was 41 years ago. And I came back to Pakistan and worked initially for a company called ICI Pakistan Limited, which is changed now. After that, realizing that there was something more that I wanted to do, and something more exciting, I kind of took a leap into a very new world at the time, which was mobile telephony. And I ended up being the first employee of a company called Mobilink.
A big company, a big name.
Mashallah. So we put a team together and we launched it in 1st of June 1993 is when I took over the CFO job and the employee one position. And then we grew it over the next 12 months and we launched in August of 1994. I left and joined the parent shareholders, Motorola, in the UK after that and spent 5 or 6 years with them, basically launching and managing mobile networks in Jordan, in Egypt, in Lithuania, Eastern Europe, and so on, including Mobilink in Pakistan, because I was put back on the board. And then I left them to join a startup, which in those days was not really, the whole concept of a startup wasn't quite there. It was called .com.
Okay.
And I became the chief operating officer of a company called WCities.com, which was basically, if you want to go out for a restaurant meal tonight, you Google it, and there was no Google at the time, so you actually just went on the internet. Having done that, what you did was, we had a product which would give you steps on how to actually drive or take a bus to that place. So Google Maps before Google Maps ever
For Pakistan,
existed,
revolutionary.
right? The company could not raise enough money. We ended up failing, and the company was wound up. And I was approached by my next employers, which was Rascom Telecom from Cairo in Egypt. And I moved there for a year and a half. They had by this time become the new owners of Mobilink in Pakistan as well. So long story, but that's it. And a year and a half later, the chairman asked me to come back to Mobilink here, now as the chief executive officer. And so I did that. So 10
full
years,
circle.
exactly, full circle. At the time, Mobilink had 1 million customers on its network. And we had Instaphone and Paktel also, with another 1 million customers between them. From that was June 2003. And then we restructured and refinanced Mobilink with a new team under my supervision. And we made it to 32 million customers in 5 years. And we generated $1.4 billion of revenues and became the largest mobile company, obviously, in Pakistan, but also one of the 5 fastest growing in Asia. The fact that it is now rebranded as Jazz, but still the largest private sector company in the country as it is today. During that time, we also launched things like mobile money, which is now called FinTech. We tried to launch a digital bank. We tried to do some infrastructure sharing, all the initiatives which are today becoming more relevant. I left at the end of 2008, went back to Cairo, And we launched mobile networks in Algeria, in Tunisia, and Iraq just after the fall of Saddam's statue. Long story, perhaps
a very interesting one. I would love to know about that.
A whole different story.
A whole different story.
I did that for a couple of years, and then I joined I came back to restructure and refinance Zouhair Telecom and Mateen Telecom in Pakistan at the request of their shareholder. And I did that for 3.5 years. We restructured it so that it became viable enough as an economic entity to be merged into Mobilink at that stage. So this was about 2015, 2016, that sort of time period. I spent another couple of years in the UK and I did something called Mobile for Development, which was a fund under the GSM Association where I ran a £150 million fund where we invested in technology startups. For various reasons, again, long story, I moved back to Pakistan in 2017 and established the National Incubation Center here called the NIC Pakistan at the time. And over in the next 7 years, we trained about 300 teams, of which 75% of them are still out there making a living. Each team would be about 4 to 5 people, so you can multiply the number of people we were able to influence and mentor. As a result of that public-private partnership, which is the model it was, there are now 8 of them, so including in Rawalpindi, there's one in Hyderabad, Faisalabad, obviously Karachi, Lahore, Quetta and Peshawar as well. I tried setting up a venture capital fund in early 2021, but because of the various issues that happened in terms of the economic turnaround, the uncertainty created in Pakistan because of the political change, etc., I shut that down. But today I run something called Teamup Ventures, which is basically a venture builder where I help technology startups to build their businesses, to help them in strategic thinking in terms of how they will take their product to market and how we can find ways to raise funds for them. And that's what keeps me busy, apart from 3 or 4 sort of non-executive boards around the country and a couple of them in the UK and the US.
Mr. Zouhair, you have such a rich history with so many different sectors that you have associated yourself with. I would like to ask, what are the 3 biggest challenges that you have faced throughout your journey? Very crisp answer, sir, we would want.
Challenges, look, I mean, I think you get a challenge every day when you work with
Definitely. What were the top, highest challenges that you were like, oh my God, this is a mountain that I have to cross now?
I've never really perceived them as challenges.
Okay.
I think they are just things that you have to tackle every day.
Definitely.
The biggest test that you will get in your life is a test of your integrity. And there will be many, many times where you will end up maybe compromising. And I think for me, that's the message. Do not compromise on your integrity ever.
क्या प्यारी बात है सर, क्या बात है सर. Again, you have held such high leadership roles and positions throughout your career. What are the 3 leadership competencies that you would like to see in the future leaders as well?
First of all, a leader has to have vision. He must have vision, because if he doesn't, there's nothing else, right? The second thing is you've got to be able to command the respect of a team, because you can't get that vision materialized
without a team working with you on that.
And the third thing, again, I will say integrity. You've got to stick with that.
Wonderful. Sir, you have worked so much in the telecom sector and finance. What motivated you to work in this particular sector for so long?
So, as I said, I started with ICI, and this was bulk chemicals and pharmaceuticals and so on. But somewhere in over the 7-year period that I was with them, I realized that this was not my future. I wanted to do something far more exciting, far more interesting, more cutting edge, if you like. And back then, when we joined the Mobilink and Motorola, mobile technology was changing the world.
Rapidly, it was changing it rapidly.
And the wonderful thing is that 32 years later, I'm still in the business. And every day is still exciting because something new is happening.
Yes.
And that's what's kept me going, kept me motivated, and to try and do new things every time.
And sir, in this day and age where AI is the new thing which is going around and it's developing so rapidly and changing the landscape altogether, what is your take on that? How is AI helping you, and how are you integrating AI in your work now?
So AI is like the latest of technology.
Yes,
right?
definitely.
I mean, a lot of people feel a little intimidated. Oh my God,
It
AI,
is
what
a
is
big
gonna happen
thing.
with AI? The thing is that it's just one more phase of technology, and it will continue to do that. I've tried to adapt it to some of the challenges I face, and I work with it. I think you as a human being continue to be the person in charge. So never let AI become the person in charge.
Definitely, sir. With all the AI around and all the IQ that, because of AI, IQ is, I don't think so that much relative anymore because it's readily available to you. What do you think is the role of EQ now for all the sectors and all the businesses?
That's an excellent question because we tend to get wrapped up with the technology and the latest of what is going on. As I said earlier to you, the biggest single thing that a leader requires is EQ. To be able to understand the people around him, her, to be able to then manage their expectations, to be able to understand what they do. I think that is an area where AI may take some time to develop.
It's not quite there yet.
Not quite there yet.
Okay. And sir, again, with this sector, do you feel that there is a gender diversity, a gender ratio that is imbalanced, that women are not as much represented as the males are, and it's a male-dominated field? What steps have you taken to ensure there is a diverse gender?
So again, I think that's a constant challenge, not just in Pakistan, but around the world. And I think it'll remain that way for a long, long time, unfortunately. We heard today that Pakistan, on the scale of DEI, is 145 out of 146. So, I mean, that is shocking and should give everybody pause for some thought. The main thing here is that what have I done in that respect?
Yes.
I mean, I come from a great belief that, women should be more than 50% of everything that
at
happens
least
in the world.
50-50, ideally.
To give you an example, when I was at Mobilink as CEO, somebody talked about a creche earlier today. We were the first multinational in the country at the time to establish creches so that our female team members could come in, leave their children in, and the creches were managed by qualified nurses and nannies. So it wasn't just that you just left your kid there. As a result of which, Mobilink at the time, the people who worked with us, there are some fabulous stories of success with female founders, female young ladies who've gone through the corporate ladder to great heights, mashallah. When we were running the NIC project with my company called Teamup, by design, 50% of our team was women. Okay, and we insisted upon it. We said it has to be this way. Now, in terms of the incoming founders of startups, we had a ratio of 34%, which again, can be improved.
But it's still a good number, I think.
It's a decent number we can live with for now. Obviously, that needs to grow and develop faster and quicker. So I think that's what I've tried to do. And obviously, I'm still mentoring ladies as well as gentlemen in terms of future technologies and businesses and so on.
So what is your mantra of happiness?
Sorry?
What is your mantra of happiness?
Happiness is spending time with your family and your friends.
Oh, such a nice thing. Then do you maintain work-life balance?
I do.
How do you do that? It's so difficult.
It's about discipline. You have to have discipline. You need to know when to stop something and when to start again. I think I find
so many people need to learn that. They forget.
They are kind of overwhelmed with the whole process.
Definitely.
But discipline is what drives that.
So lastly, in the camera, can you please tell us a message of hope and optimism for the youth of Pakistan?
So it's a message that I've done many, many times. As you know, I've had the good fortune of working in many parts of the world, in Europe, in the US, in the Middle East, and so on, and obviously Pakistan. My firm belief, and I may be a little biased, is that we have some of the most talented, hardworking young population in the world. And that is exactly the reason I left London to come back and establish the NIC, so that we could try and help and give them a platform to do more.
Thank you so much, sir, for coming here today.
Pleasure.
Thank you so much, Women's CEO Club, to give us the platform to conduct such an insightful interview. Thank you, and see you next time. Thank you
so much.